Welcome to Infinitia Verity, where we delve into the greatest mysteries of history, secrets that are too profound to ignore and too fascinating to be left untouched. If you've ever wondered if the ancient world holds more secrets than we could ever imagine, you're in for a treat today. What if I told you that there's a document, hidden in plain sight, that might hold the key to a shocking link between ancient China and the legendary Lost City of Atlantis? Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But what if I told you that this connection could rewrite history as we know it? You might think of Atlantis as nothing more than a myth told by Plato thousands of years ago, and ancient China as a civilization with its own history, far removed from the story of the lost city. But what if I told you that centuries-old Chinese records, combined with a mysterious manuscript and groundbreaking discoveries, might actually prove that these two worlds were once connected in ways we could never have imagined? Prepare yourself, because we're about to uncover the astonishing, surprising facts that could forever change the way we look at ancient history. Keep watching, and let's dive deep into one of the most jaw-dropping connections between the East and the West. We all know the story of Atlantis, don't we? The tale of a highly advanced, prosperous civilization that vanished into the ocean, its people, technology, and wealth lost to time. The earliest record of Atlantis comes from Plato, who introduced it in his dialogues around 360 BCE. But here's something you might not know. Plato's story wasn't the first of its kind. Ancient myths from Egypt, the Aztecs, and even the Greeks themselves echo the same story of a great civilization disappearing beneath the waves, leaving behind only a trace of their legacy. And that's the first shocking fact. Ancient civilizations around the world seem to share the same memory of a lost, highly advanced culture. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The descriptions Plato gives of Atlantis, a city of concentric rings of land and water with grand buildings, advanced technology, and sophisticated agriculture, bear remarkable similarities to something that was happening across the world, in ancient China. Interesting fact 1. Chinese legends speak of a lost city beneath the waves, not in the Atlantic, but in the Pacific. In 2001, scientists even discovered an underwater city near the coast of China that many believe could be the remnants of a lost civilization that predated Atlantis. Was this the same advanced culture Plato wrote about? Interesting fact 2. Plato described the people of Atlantis as giants. Ancient Chinese texts also speak of giants who built the first cities and were said to have had extraordinary strength, much like the Atlanteans' rumored prowess. In 1975, something extraordinary happened in China, the discovery of an ancient Chinese manuscript, now referred to as the Book of Divinities. It detailed stories that seemed almost too incredible to be true, stories that described gods, great floods, and vast lands to the west. What's so shocking about this? Among these ancient texts, some historians have identified passages that might point directly to a land across the seas, potentially Atlantis. These records hint at a civilization much older than even the dynasties of ancient China, a civilization with knowledge that rivaled the great cities Plato described. Interesting fact 1. The Chinese Book of Divinities isn't just a religious text. It contains incredibly detailed references to the natural world, astronomical knowledge, and even complex engineering techniques. In fact, the book contains descriptions of cities that were said to have been constructed by the gods, with technology that mirrors what Plato claimed was in Atlantis. Interesting fact 2. Some scholars believe the gods mentioned in these texts were actually visitors from far-off lands, potentially survivors of Atlantis who traveled eastward, bringing their knowledge to China after the great catastrophe that destroyed their home. This theory is supported by similar myths across ancient civilizations, from Egypt to the Maya, that all seem to suggest a shared advanced knowledge. Imagine finding a manuscript so enigmatic, so full of strange references, that it could potentially unlock one of history's greatest mysteries. In 1934, a peculiar document surfaced known only as the Atlantean manuscript. Supposedly discovered in a secret temple in the Sichuan province of China, this manuscript has baffled experts ever since. The Atlantean manuscript was said to be written by an unknown civilization, and contains highly cryptic passages that mention the great land of water, which matches descriptions found in Plato's account of Atlantis. But that's not all. The manuscript is peppered with references to advanced technology devices that seem to defy the limitations of ancient science as we know it. Interesting fact 1. The manuscript mentions flying ships, which aligns eerily well with descriptions of Atlantean technology that many believe could have included flying machines or airships. Was this knowledge passed to the ancient Chinese through some kind of contact with the survivors of Atlantis? Interesting fact 2. The manuscript also references a great city beneath the sea, which many believe is an allegory for the sinking of Atlantis. Interestingly, some believe this description matches the findings of submerged cities off the coast of China, hinting at a cultural exchange between Atlantis and the Far East. We often think of China's ancient history as centered on land emperors, dynasties, and vast empires. But there's something even more mysterious hiding beneath the surface ancient Chinese maritime exploration. Historical records from the Tang and Song dynasties reveal an astonishing fact. China's maritime technology was far more advanced than previously believed. The Chinese sailed to places as far as Africa, India, and possibly even the Americas long before European explorers. And some even suggest that these seafaring people could have encountered the remains of Atlantis during their voyages. Interesting fact 1. Chinese sailors were known for their vast fleets. Some even claim that Admiral Zheng He's 15th century expeditions reached as far as the Americas. Could they have been retracing routes established by ancient Atlanteans? Interesting fact 2. The ancient Chinese had advanced navigation technology, including the compass, which they might have used to locate distant lands. Could these navigational abilities have been passed down from a far older civilization, perhaps the survivors of Atlantis who navigated the Pacific centuries before? You might think that the fall of Atlantis was purely mythical, but evidence suggests otherwise. Many scholars believe that Atlantis's downfall was due to a massive natural disaster, possibly a great earthquake or volcanic eruption. Here's where things take an even more astonishing turn. Ancient Chinese texts, such as the Book of Divinities and other historical accounts, describe a cataclysmic event that could have been the exact same disaster Plato spoke of, a world-altering earthquake that ravaged a once great civilization, causing it to sink beneath the waves. Interesting fact 1. Some researchers suggest that the cataclysm Plato described as the fall of Atlantis might have been caused by an event in the Pacific Ring of Fire, an area where China itself is located. Could this earthquake have affected both Atlantis and ancient China? Interesting fact 2. Geological evidence has confirmed that large-scale earthquakes occurred in the Pacific region around the time of Atlantis's supposed fall, supporting the theory that the destruction of Atlantis was part of a much larger global catastrophe, one that might have impacted civilizations far and wide, including ancient China. So, is it possible that the lost city of Atlantis was more than just a myth, and that ancient China holds the key to uncovering its secrets? From mysterious manuscripts to cryptic Chinese records, the pieces of this ancient puzzle continue to fall into place, each discovery bringing us closer to the truth. If this theory fascinates you as much as it does us, hit that like button, subscribe to Infinitia Verity for more deep dives into the unknown, and ring the bell so you never miss a moment of the ancient mysteries we're about to uncover next. What do you think? Could the ancient Chinese have been connected to the survivors of Atlantis? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to share this video with anyone who loves a good historical mystery. Until next time, keep seeking the truth and exploring the infinite verities of the past.